Good morning, Facebook Live. I'm just going to launch live on Instagram here, and then we will be ready to go. Okay, we are live on both channels. Good morning, everyone, and happy Thursday. I hope that you guys are having an amazing Thursday. I'm going to try to... What am I going to try to do? I'm going to try to turn on some light because I feel like it's dark up in here. There it is. That's so much better. I got this amazing ring light. Like, it's legit. So, good morning, Jennifer. Hi, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining this morning. Happy Thursday. For those of you who have never joined before, welcome to Dapper Dossier Live. This is the first week that we're doing this. I'm Julian Lever, the owner of the Dapper Diplomat, and we focus here, welcome, on talking about kind of three basic things: communication, how you can be a better communicator, how you can be a better networker, because who doesn't want to do that in 2020, and also how you can be a better public speaker. And that's something that I do a lot. And so I want to be able to pass some of that fun knowledge along to you all. And so kind of the idea is that we are sharing a quick little daily reminder every day about things that you can do proactively in your day. And we started in the morning so that you can take this thing and then learn a lesson from it, and then maybe come back tomorrow and tell us what you learned, right? So we had an amazing day yesterday, and we talked a lot about how you might be coming across rude, right? And you're not paying attention in a meeting. And so I had a bunch of meetings yesterday, and I really did try to pay attention. And one of the things I also did last night was, it was Francisco, who's my partner. It was his brother's birthday. And so we all went to dinner for his birthday. And I just put my phone in my coat pocket, put it on the back of my chair, and forgot about it, because I really wanted to treat that dinner like a meeting, right? And so pretty much nobody got their phone out. Nobody looked at their phone until the very end when we wanted to take some pictures. But we were all really super engaged, and we had really great conversation. I will say most of it was in Spanish, which I'm still learning. So that was kind of a curve for me, but I'm getting better. So Francisco, if you're watching, I really appreciate the Spanish lessons, and my vocabulary is slowly getting better. But on to today's topic, which is really one of my biggest pet peeves, and one that has kind of permeated society. We're going to talk a little bit today about emojis, right? Like, I love the emojis that are even already being used in the comments here today. So, hi guys, thanks for coming. Use emojis in your Instagram, in the Instagram Live, in the Facebook Live. I really love that. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the different ways and places you're using emojis. So I've kind of been starting off with reading a little bit from something that I wrote in the past, and then we're going to expand on it a little bit today. So I'll read, and then we can chat. So when is it okay to use emojis in the professional world? When is it okay to use emojis in the professional world, right? So gone are the days of the phone call. Shocking. Banished are the letters written over time. In the digital age, we have been left with the text, the email, and the direct message. Hardly a place for long and articulated conversations. I think we can probably all agree. So what have we turned to? The emoji, okay? They expand every day. It's become our catch-all for showing a full range of emotions, small, big, and outsized, right? Hi, how are you all? So how does it fit in the professional world? How do the emojis fit in the professional world? Ooh, I love that. Fabulous beginnings. Never, ever in an email. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about is email, all right? This is good. You led right into it. Thank you so much, right? So the topic for today is using emojis in an email. And this is what I wrote. I said, our longest format of modern communication tends to exclude emojis in professional settings, right? It excludes them in professional settings. The rule of thumb here is, if you are inclined to use one, you probably haven't written the rest of the email well email, right? Our advice is to pick up the phone and call. Okay? So if you haven't written the email well enough, what does that mean, right? That means you probably need to go back and look at it again. Okay? Hi guys, thanks so much for joining. If you're just joining, we are chatting about using emojis in email, which is pretty much a never ever. And what you can do to avoid that is go back and reread your email, right? Because you definitely want to make sure that you're being very clear, you're being very concise, you have eliminated the pieces of the email that don't make any sense, right? And I want to touch here a little bit on litigation, okay? Because I work with a lot of healthcare companies and working on their communication and so forth and so on. And one of the things that they actually pointed out to me was that when they go through litigation, there's a treasure trove of all of these emails that are just kind of dumped in the attorney's laps, right? That they have to then sort through and figure out what's relevant and what's not relevant and all of those things. And so if they're sorting through all of that information and then they come across your emoji laced email, it becomes very confusing about what on earth you were trying to say. And I think that this applies really in any industry, any situation where there is a client and someone providing the service, right? Because guess what? Emojis can be read in a variety of different ways, okay? And there's a lot of different pieces of the emoji that you really have to kind of think about, right? So for example, there are so many examples. Just look at your emoji keyboard and put it away. You know, when it comes to email, adding those items in there, I feel like it just creates confusion. It's unclear. And you should just go back and rewrite the email, right? Rewrite the email. I mean, what other questions do you guys have about emojis? Do you think that you should be allowed to use them in an email? Do you think you should not be allowed to use them in an email, right? I mean, we're going to talk later on this year about where else you could possibly use emojis. But one of the places that you really shouldn't is in your email. So, Fabulous Beginnings, you were really right that email is not a place to use an emoji. And so the other part of that, the other part of what I wrote really had to do with picking up the phone and placing a call, right? Placing a call. And I don't know if you guys can hear me. Oh, maybe you can hear. It was giving me some kind of weird warning sign. Unclear. So we'll try this and see if it works. But if you don't write the email well enough and you can't do it without an emoji, what are you going to do, right? You're going to pick up the phone. And I am a huge believer in picking up the phone because maybe I'm a little old school like that. But sometimes I feel like items in business. Exactly. I love what you just said, Nancat. I think they definitely make it look more like my teen is communicating instead of my nearly 40-year-old self. Hey, shout out to nearly 40. I am also nearly 40. It's a good age to be, my friend. Phone calls are the best, right? Because a phone call gets right to the heart of the matter, okay? And I also think that a phone call shows that you care, right? Because you have reached out, you're making a connection. Maybe you're talking a little bit about the piece of business that needed the phone call, but you're also working to make a larger business connection, whether that's a colleague of yours, whether it's a client of yours, whether it's someone you are trying to make a client of yours, right? Picking up the phone, taking that action, and really connecting with someone, right? And then this goes back into what we talked about earlier in the week, which is making a connection, asking questions, listening to the answer, and then asking additional questions, right? So it all plays into each other. And it really does allow you to appear incredibly professional, okay? And so we'll talk a little bit more about where emojis might join into the conversation a little bit later in the year. But I really appreciate all of you joining. So your tip for today is to what? Not use emojis in your emails, and perhaps pick up the phone and just make a call instead if you really do need to use an emoji. So I really thank you guys for joining this morning. It's a quick little one this morning, a quick little daily tip. And tomorrow we are going to be chatting about how your actions define your personal brand. Hi, welcome, good morning. How your actions define your personal brand, right? What is your personal brand, and what are you doing to broadcast that? So join us live tomorrow for our last Dapper Dossier Live of the week. And then we take a little break on the weekend, and then we'll be back at it on Monday. So I appreciate you guys joining in. Please let me know if you have experienced any fun stories from any of the tips that we've shared this week, right? So just as a recap, the very first thing we talked about this week was responding in a day, right? The second thing was putting your phone down, okay? Yesterday, we talked about not paying attention in a meeting and why that's coming across rude. And then today, we're talking about emojis. So I want to hear your experience. Please share it here in the comments. Share it on the live. Send me an email or a question. Obviously, my handle on Instagram is @DapperDiplomat, and on Facebook @The Dapper Diplomat. You could also email me a question at julian@dapperdiplomat.com. So I hope you all have a great Thursday, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys. All right, I am going to end the Facebook Live first, or the Instagram Live first, and then I am going to say goodbye to our friends over here on Facebook. All right, thank you guys so much for joining. I'm going to just end this little live video really quickly, and I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Bye.